Alright, hi Art. So here's my presentation I did on commitment and consistency. I did it on chapter 3 of the influence book, I believe. And alright. So my first slide is about the difference between consistency and inconsistency. Consistency is basically its value and it's adapted. So that means that like if you plan to do something or you do something a certain way, you do that the exact same way multiple times in a row, just to stay consistent and on task so everyone kind of predicts what you are going to do and how you're going to do it. So that's kind of how what consistency is. So it's basically how you do something the same way and act the same way. A high degree is normally associated with personal and intellectual strength. Um, and it has to do with honesty and stability, because if you're not stable, you're gonna be switching your mind too much and you won't be able to commit a task the same way every single time. You just have to believe that you can do it and show everyone that you are consistent and that they can trust you. Without consistency, our lives would just be a mess, just because you're going to have no plan, you're going to have no routine that you're consistent on when you wake up and when you go to work, when you eat, when you go to bed, different things like that. And inconsistency is commonly thought to be an undesirable personal trait, because no one wants to be known as the inconsistent person who that they can't count on. And they don't, if they are inconsistent, they don't want to take blame for their inconsistency. Again, because they don't want to be the one that people are know they can't rely on. The next one I did was desire. So our desire appears to be consistent with what we have already done. So if you have desire and passion behind special events, you will work towards that field and you're consistent on how you do your events and how you plan, and your desire is always there to continue to grow in that field. And it's once you make a choice, we will experience both personal and interpersonal pressures to behave consistently and with that commitment. So basically, like, people are gonna pressure you, and you're gonna pressure yourself internally of if you can do this, if you can do it around the right time like you said you would, and what you've done before to stay consistent. You're always gonna have those pressures that everyone's trying to knock you down. Once a decision is made to do something, you will always have to have that pressure to complete it because you don't want to let anyone down. So basically, your desire is within you and what your plan is to accomplish. The next one is commitment is key. So once everyone takes a stand to do something, it's natural tendency to behave in certain ways. Usually the ways that are consistent with the stand taken. So basically, once you say you're going to do something, you will follow the plan in regards to finishing that task and stay consistent like you would have the other 3 times. Commitments are becoming more and more. So some people are afraid of commitment, like a relationship, or just commitment because it's a big word meaning you are putting yourself out there and you have to make sure you get that task done because you committed to it. So it's like once you start something, you have to finish it. You have to be careful when you are agreeing to these things, because if you commit to some huge task, you have to make sure that it's actually logical and you could actually finish the task. And it's not like renting a whole place that you don't have the money for a wedding or something like that. A variety of factors affect the availability or the ability of a commitment to constrain our future behavior. So if you commit to do something and you don't finish it, you could become a little mean to the person, saying like, well, it was this reason why I didn't finish it, and other things like that. You're always going to have factors of why you didn't finish it. When you got a person's self-image where you want it, that person should comply naturally with the range of requests that go along with the self-image view. So a real goal is to modify, and that equals the heart and minds of their captives. The next one is magic art. So the best way to see people's true feelings and beliefs come not from their words but their actions. So basically, someone can say all that they want, but until they actually put some effort out there and show you what they really mean, then it's not going to mean the same message as if they're just saying it in words until their actions are shown that they really truly mean what they are saying. You can tell who someone is just the way they act, especially around certain people. So if someone's kind of fake or drama filled, like how they're going to act and portray themselves is going to describe their type of person and who they really are compared to what they say they are. Active commitments give us the kind of information we use to shape self-image that can lead to our actions. Once this is made, then self-image is taken from both sides by consistency pressures. The best way to express things is to write things down. I know I always have to write things down and make sure, especially if it's an important email, like I'll write it down and I'll reread it before I send it. And this is because when you can show these things to others and persuade them what you want to think. So basically, sometimes it's harder to tell them what you mean if you write it down, then they can actually understand what you are trying to say. The public eye. So this is when someone takes a stand that is visible to others, that drives them to maintain that stand in order to look like a consistent person. So everyone wants to look like they're consistent. So you're always going to take that stand to show people that you are consistent and you stay true to your word, and that you can do the tasks given to you at hand, and that they will be done in a timely manner and consistent as all your other tasks that you have done. People who go through a lot of trouble to attain something tend to value it more because it means something to them. So their task or their event or project actually has a value to them. So then someone who attains something with minimal effort, because they didn't put that much effort into it, so they're just kind of whatever about it. But if you put a lot of effort into something, then you're going to have passion behind it, and you're going to stand for what you presented and what project you have completed. So acts of group of survival. We as humans care how we are portrayed to the public eye. So we care what people think about us. So we dress differently, the way we act, our manners, and everything like that is all because we care what people see us in the public eye. So the next one is extra effort. This is just written commitments are more effective. So basically they require more work than verbal ones. Because once it's actually written down, that person always has, what am I trying to say? They always have proof. So basically, if you are saying something, they can't go back and be like, well, you wrote it down on here. So that's written commitment, to where they can actually go back in their files and be like, this is when you said this and this is how you said it. So they actually have proof, rather than if it was verbal, then once you said it, no one has proof that it was even said. The more effort that goes into a commitment, the greater is the ability to influence the attitudes of the person who made it. The next one is the inner choice. So the most effective way in changing a person's self-image and behavior are commitments that are active, effortless, and public. We want participants to own what they have done. Basically not hide behind someone else. Just own it and be proud of their actions, their projects, anything that they have done. You take responsibility for your actions. So if you did something, you need to take responsibility for it. Just like anything else that you do, you need to take responsibility for. As humans, usually take inner responsibility for behavior when we think we have to choose to perform it without outside influencers. This is important when raising children, because it says that you should never bribe or threaten your child to do things you want them to do, because if you want them to truly believe in it, you should never bribe them into it. Make them accept their inner responsibility. So just like you were always told, don't do things if you don't want people to think that about you. They need to take responsibility for their actions. If they're going to do something, they need to own up to it. You should always take the child allow the child to take personal responsibility for their behavior. Don't be like, oh, I'm sorry, that was my child's fault. It's your child's fault. Let them take responsibility. And so that is my presentation. I hope everything's going well, and just email me if you have anything else that you want me to do. All right, thank you, and have a good weekend. Bye.